Hi, everyone. Welcome into My Chamber TV. We are the heartbeat of the Tampa Bay community. It's great to have you with us as we feature Tarpon Springs Chamber of Commerce right in my own hometown. We have Jean Hungaville with us, president of the Tarpon Chamber of Commerce. Almost didn't get that out there.
Well, you said it 3 times.
Welcome back again.
Okay. Yes, I know. It's one of those things where it's a tongue twister.
Sometimes it is, but I tell you, you always lead a great show with so many great guests.
Oh, thank you.
And there's always something interesting. I feel like I take off my host shoes and get into my, viewer shoes because everyone is so interesting. And our next guest
It's really interesting.
For sure. Kathy Hopkins, we've been talking a little bit before this show.
Sure.
And you are president of UU Church of Tarpon Springs. And I am going to just turn this over to you. I want to hear as much as I possibly can about the church. Going back to 1885?
Yes,
Really?
our church was founded in 1885, and we have a historic building. We're in the heart of the walkable, historic Tarpon Springs.
Right off of the Golden Crescent.
Yes, very close to Safford House and about a block away from the bayou. And so a lot of people just like to stroll by and see the structure. And we've newly renovated the structure. We had some sinkhole damage. So it's all spruced up and in good
it's lovely.
shape now. And this year we're working on the grounds to make it more interesting and inviting people to stroll by. So
You were telling me
That's so
about
neat.
some of the outside grounds areas for people that are there. Talk a little bit about those before we go inside the church, because I know we've got some pictures.
Sure. So this year, not being able to be indoors as much, we thought, well, let's focus on the outdoors. Let's give people a pleasant place to be that's relaxing and comforting, but also a project to work on. So we have what we're calling the outdoor sanctuary. And this is where we have statements of our faith. We have a memory garden with people who have passed, and you can go and have silence and remember those. We have a butterfly garden that shows the interdependent web of life and our relationship with the environment. And that's been a wonderful project for people to work on together in teams, all outdoors, so it's safe. And then we have the 5 smooth stones, and each one of them has a word that is a foundation of our faith: hope, courage, joy, love. And so it's just a great place. We have banners. We're one of the few churches in town probably that has a Black Lives Matter banner on our property. And that's because one of our principles is that we believe in the inherent worth and dignity of every person. And we're very oriented towards social justice. And those are things that we value, and so we make those values evident on our property to share with people in the community.
There's the manor.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Oh,
There's
look
the beautiful
here.
church.
Lovely.
When that was going through renovation, I just really loved driving by, watching it, and now it's just beautiful.
And there we are on the steps. And that was
yes.
right when we were celebrating the reopening.
When did it reopen?
It was about a year ago.
Yeah?
We had our celebrations in September of last year.
And there's
Our new minister, Reverend Christina Spouty, just joined us. She just relocated to Tarpon Springs a few weeks ago. I wish she could have been here today, but unfortunately she came down with an illness. So,
not COVID.
No.
A cold. Yes.
And here we are enjoying being back in the historic sanctuary, and we have a wonderful music director who gets us up off our feet. And that day she had the choir walking around rather than standing on the stage. So it's fun. We keep our services interesting.
Yes, you do. And tell us about the UU Church. How did that get started, and a little bit of background? Because
Sure.
I'm really tickled to hear about this.
Sure. Well, a lot of people don't know about us, but UU stands for Unitarian Universalist, and those were 2 churches that came together back 50 years ago or so. They merged, and they named themselves Unitarian Universalist after each church. And so we shorten it to UU. But a lot of UUs wish that the church had been named the Free Church. And the reason is we believe in, we don't tell people what to believe. Instead, we support the free and responsible seeking of truth and meaning. And so we provide the supportive community for people as they make their own spiritual journeys.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. And how long have you been involved?
I've been a member of the church since 2013 when we relocated to Tarpon Springs.
Okay, so quite a while.
Yeah,
It's been
exactly.
a while. And yes.
I remember when we first met, which was at the reopening of the church, and it was just beautiful. I was so taken. The Innes paintings are there,
Yes.
and I had not seen them, but they're breathtaking. Oh my gosh, they're just amazing. But the faith of the people in this church is very different than. I was raised Catholic. You're Methodist. This is something that is much more inclusive and free-spirited. It's very, very. You have a rainbow flag out in the front.
Yes, very much so. So we ask people to bring your whole self, your background, your heritage, whatever your orientation is, whatever your beliefs are, you will be welcome at our church. And we have a lot of people who were Catholic, quite a few people who were Catholic. It just doesn't work for them anymore, and they find a home in our church. We have people with Jewish backgrounds. We have people who grew up unchurched. We have people who are atheists. And we come together because there are a set of principles that we embrace. One of them is the worth and dignity of every person. Another is justice and equity and compassion in our human relationships. We accept and encourage spiritual growth and the right to come together in a democratic process. So these are principles that can be embraced by people regardless of their backgrounds. And a lot of people, when they come and they learn about us, they say, yes, this is a place for me. I feel at home here, and I'd like my children to grow up with these guiding principles. And then we're all kind of together supporting each other to learn more and figure out what is our truth, what is meaningful to us.
A real sense of freedom is what I'm gathering
And learning
from that.
and discovery and supporting each other.
One of the employees at the chamber is one of your members,
Yes.
and he talks oftentimes when he'll comes into work about and it's not the sermon, but what the discussion was, and it's completely different from what a traditional service is. It's very free form. Is that the right word?
Yes, there are some traditional elements, so you'll feel like you're going to church, but you don't have to recite a creed. It's
Okay.
more of an open encouragement of finding meaning in the arts, finding meaning in how we relate to each other. Our new minister is very good at with her sermons and introducing us to some historic perspective, some new things to think about, and you feel comforted by her words, but then at the same time you feel challenged. So as you go out into your week, you have some things to think about. You want to think about yourself. Do I have an opportunity to do different, to be more kind or more compassionate? So it really helps you develop your own thinking and how you relate to the world around you.
Well, now is certainly a good time for people to really be embracing.
Absolutely. And in fact, one of the things I want to share today is during this pandemic, we are choosing not to meet in person. We have a lot of people over the age of 60, and we just don't feel like it's safe to gather in a group. So I'm pretty proud of the way we've learned to do things to continue our mission and be together as a community, even though we're not meeting in person. So we have recorded services every Sunday available on our YouTube channel. You just search for UUCTS on YouTube, and you will find our services.
UUCTS.
Yes, Unitarian Universalist Church of Tarpon Springs, UUCTS on YouTube. And so those services are recorded, and you can watch them whenever it's convenient. But we gather through Zoom virtually.
Of course.
Every Sunday morning at 11 o'clock. And that's the time that we can interact and visit with each other. We break into small groups and we have conversations, and you can ask questions and learn what we're all about. And we found that we actually have better conversations now than we did when we were in the social hall and it was busy and everybody was moving around. You'd have just a short greeting to someone. But now you have a chance to spend a few minutes and have a little bit more meaningful conversation. So we're really getting to know each other actually better
nice.
in some ways than we did before.
But don't you think that's what the times are calling for?
Yes.
I mean, really,
Yes.
if you're not getting along with your husband before COVID and pandemic, well, let me tell you, you're going to learn a whole lot. From my husband and I, we've gotten even closer and closer just when I thought we were as close as we could ever be. And there's so many families that are going through that, and especially with the lack of work and not knowing the authorities that don't know which way to go either. I mean, there's a lot of questions out there, and it causes us to come from within and discover, if we haven't discovered, who we are by now. I think this is really great. I like what you say when someone can come in and just gather what they can and glean from the sermon and then go out into the community and walk the walk.
Exactly, and we support each other. So
That's wonderful.
there's a lot of anxiety right now. Like you say, whatever your life situation is, chances are it's more intense right
Oh,
now.
yeah.
And having the support of a broader community can make all the difference as we're all going through these uncertain times.
Absolutely.
But we have things during the week as well. We have ways to get together and connect. We have a news and views discussion group. We have mindful meditation on Mondays. We have a caring circle. You were asking about some kind of exercise. We actually have Tai Chi that's starting up soon. And we're going to be doing that at Craig Park. So it's outdoors. People can space.
Excellent.
Yeah, and so, but that's something we've been doing for several years, and people love coming to that. It's again, a sense of community. You meet people and get to know them.
Yeah.
But I really encourage people, if you've been thinking you might be interested in visiting our church, and you thought, well, maybe I'll wait till COVID's passed and when I can go to a service, please don't wait. I mean, now's a great time. Our newest member was recently widowed and just relocated to the Tarpon Springs area but didn't know anybody. And she was so glad that she found us. She's made new friends. It's a new beginning. So I'm so glad she didn't wait. And she just jumped right in and fit right in, and that's worked out very well.
Well, Kathy, this has been delightful. We're already running out of time
my
here.
goodness, we are.
But
Yes.
I do want to thank you for joining us and raising the awareness. I mean, I've lived in Tarpon for 22 years. I had no idea.
Well, I couldn't wait to get them on here because with the new minister, who's breathing, fresh, youthful
Fresh ideas, yes.
feel to the church, and with one of my employees that is going there on a regular basis, I feel like I'm always up on what you all are doing, but you came up with some things that I didn't even realize, that whole outdoor area.
Well, thank you so much.
You're
and it's
welcome. I'm
definitely
glad to
worth
be
looking
here.
into. Thank you, and thank you for being out there. And of course, thank you, Jean. We'll be right back after this.